Urgent Just Home Reaction. This is with the Trump victory. What's next for Russia-Ukraine war? Wall Street Journal. That's the channel. Again, like I don't know which channels are left wing, right wing. I'm guessing this is left wing Wall Street Journal. I don't know because I did a walkthrough and people told me it's like very left leaning one. Okay. Look, this is like one of the crucial things that I've been thinking about past few months because I've been like watching a lot of like geopolitics and war videos recently from Enforcer or Task and Purpose channels like that. And yeah, again, when Trump went to Joe Rogan, he said like I would finish this much faster. I would tell this to Putin. I would tell that to him. I don't know the point is I don't know what his views are on this. Like how he gonna handle that? Is he gonna like pull out of Ukraine? Or is he still gonna arm, give weapons to Ukraine and help out? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like this is beyond precedent. Like what president can do is like very intricate. A lot of political sectors are involved in things like this, from Congress to everything. So I don't think Trump can just come and just say like, oh, we are pulling out type of way. I don't think that can happen. But who knows? I don't know much about this. I don't know what level of power president hold times like this. I'm pretty sure like when you have to send an aid package, you have to like get a Congress's approval. So would you need Congress approval for this? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, during Trump's time, he does really like controversial things for the other side, what are other side things. But he usually do things what his base want and what his people want. So do Republicans think they should pull out of Ukraine? That's the question here. And look, if they pull out of Ukraine, I think war is over in a lot of ways. Maybe last few months or something. It's going to be very effed up for Ukraine if that happens, because even the peace talk will be like not much of peace talk. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting. Let's do it.
Today, after over 2.5 years of fighting, Russia controls about...
If you're thinking why did I skip first 10-15 seconds, those are like certain clips that YouTube doesn't like at the start of the video. Let's just say, I don't know how they posted it.
About 18% of Ukrainian territory. What's more, Ukrainian troops are outnumbered and outgunned, with little prospect of significant relief. Donald Trump's victory in the presidential election also brings a fresh jolt of uncertainty to continued U.S. support for Ukraine.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives.
Now, with Russia continuing to make slow gains on the battlefield and Kiev facing a tough winter, some believe Ukraine may need to come up with a more realistic plan. To better understand the state of play in the battlefield and what may come next, the Wall Street Journal sat down with retired Brigadier General Mark Kimmett.
All right, this is the thing, right? The way Trump said it. Now, Trump can easily come to a point where he just says like, okay, not helping Ukraine is ultimate way to help them type of way. If war finishes, people survive. Then again, I don't know if that's the case or not. Time will tell us. Hindsight is pretty fucked up, like pretty hard and fucked up thing. So maybe if this war is not stopped immediately, if this war stretches out for a long time, and if in the end Ukraine still loses but now lost nearly 90% of whatever they had, is that even winning? Right? Even if they win, even if they lose, they're really lost. So I don't know what Trump's mentality on like right Republicans' mentality is going to be. Like, might as well stop war now. Any means necessary. And that means not supplying Ukraine. They can rationalize it that way, and I don't know if that's going to be good or not. If there's a scenario, right, where like I have to save someone that is in front of me, but if I save them, the fucked up things might happen in the future. I'm going to choose to save the person because I can't think about 10 years from now, 8 years from now. I can only think what's happening in front of me. So if somebody's about to get hit by a car, I'm going to save them. Even if it means 8 or 10 years from now, something even more fucked up happens. Again, I don't know if I'll be right or not. That is how I work, right? So supplying and helping Ukraine is the thing I would think about right now. But I don't know how Trump's going to see that.
Before we talk about the battlefield, it might be helpful to put the battlefield in perspective. Ukraine is much, much larger. It goes along this entire borderline. 4/5 of the country is not involved in the war directly. There's no direct combat action going on.
Belarus, might as well be Russia in a way, right? Belarus was preparing troops. Belarus might literally join the war in the future. North Korea has already did it, so why would Belarus not? But yeah, Ukraine is a large country for European countries, I guess.
The war directly. There's no direct combat action going on. The Russians right now are focused as a main effort is up in the Donetsk and Luhansk. They're trying to, of course, continue to push to the east, but there are also two other areas of interest. This area around Sumy is the area that people now know as the Kursk salient, where the Ukrainians made a attack into Russia proper, trying to pull off significant amount of forces from the front lines.
According to General Kimmett, the Kursk salient attack wasn't just the most effective move Ukraine made within the past year, it was also a significant propaganda victory for the Ukrainians.
I think it was masterful in terms of the element of surprise that they could attack into Russia, make gains, and point a dagger towards Moscow a couple of hundred miles away. It was in many ways wrong in terms of its other intent, which was to draw key Russian forces off the Eastern Front. And I think it was wrong because it was inevitable that the Russians would do what the Russians always do, which is they're now trying to envelop that force. Over here in Luhansk and Donetsk,
I'm not so sure about if Ukraine's objective was to like pull troops into that area, or that, because in the end of the day, you could have like reinforced the Donbass area. You can just reinforce those positions rather than try to take Russian state, oblast, whatever. I think their whole intent was to show people like how powerful they can be and how Russia can be invaded, and the way they did it, the way people just gave up and surrendered, kind of had this kind of like a psychological element to it. So let's just say if Trump goes to like his generals and his people and just say like, should we help Ukraine? Is that even something we should do? Or is that a lost cause? They could argue because of the how Kursk offensive went, Ukraine might win, so that's good enough for us to support them type of way. So maybe that alone might save them, just that attempt of Kursk, right?
Battle for the last 6 months has, for the most part, been focused on one side defending and the other side attacking key road installations. Primarily, these two roads going into Kharkiv are being blocked at these key intersections where a number of roads come through. But these are very, very small areas, very small distances measured in the kilometers, in many times the hundreds of meters. Down here in Zaporizhia and Kherson, it's clear that the Russians are holding the line there. I don't think there's an opportunity for this winter for the Ukrainian forces to make any headway down here. They might, in fact, push out a little bit from Kherson, but
Crimea is kind of like a symbol thing for Russia, so I don't think they would ever let that guard down, doesn't matter what, so they can't, I don't think they're going to make progress on there. Ukraine is not going to be able to make progress on here. Maybe they can use Kursk as either try to progress there or try to do some leverage thing.
I think they're going to go into the wintertime holding the line. So overall, stalemate along this line. This is where the main effort of the Russian forces are focused upon. Trying to break through along this route and along this route to either threaten Kharkiv or to come down here and surround the forces that are, the Ukrainian forces that are attacking along this route, and of course trying to get Donetsk back if you're the Ukrainians and attack west if you're the Russians. So watch this area for the main action, supporting action up here around Kharkiv and Kursk, and hold.
Well, last time I assumed that near Belgorod here, there were already a Ukrainian force trying to attack the area so they can close in both sides, or at least try to do that, at least show that they're about to do that type of way. So if Russian trying to attack Donetsk and all that from this position means that they are they keep their flank open for this Ukrainian force that are currently attacking Russia to, I guess, attack them. So I don't know about that.
Holding the line down here in Zaporizhia and Kherson.
In recent months, the Ukrainians have had success deploying drone swarms into Russia. These long-range strikes, which have reached all the way to Russia's Arctic shores in the north and areas bordering Kazakhstan in the east, have slammed into missile storage facilities, strategic fuel reserves, military airfields, and defense plants. Despite the many sacrifices made thus far by the Ukrainians, General Kimmett sees the conflict as an ongoing stalemate.
I think it'd be accurate to say that neither side is winning, nor is either side losing. But if you talk about the ability to replace those forces, it is clear that the Ukrainians are losing capability.
Yeah, I would say both sides are losing. Russia is losing a lot, stigma and everything. Ukraine is losing every single moment the war doesn't finish. The more the war stretches, it's bad for Ukraine, right? Especially like support might dwindle slowly from Europe and US and things like that. So yeah, I think everyone's losing and nobody's winning. That's the point right now.
At a faster rate than the Russians are losing capability.
The West still backs Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's long-term stated aim of taking back control of Ukrainian territory. But recently, the Biden administration said it was concerned that the Ukrainian leader's plan for winning the war against Russia lacks a comprehensive strategy.
His war aims, which is pushing the Russians out, restoring sovereignty both on eastern Ukraine and on Crimea, my view is that's impossible, unrealistic.
The lack of progress on the battlefield has led some European diplomats to question the feasibility of Zelensky's war aims.
The expense to the European economies to provide weapons and equipment is starting to bite. They don't have that excess capacity for one. They don't have the industrial capability to produce replacements, two. And three, as we, the United States, continue to press for them to meet their NATO obligations, to do all of that is a pretty tough call on the Europeans.
Another concern is population decline.
People need to realize Russia's history, how Russia fights, how Russia survives, and what it is to fight Russia near its land or at its land. It's very different. People can see certain main spec, let's just say, main spec on the sheet, right? Like what is Russia, what is Ukraine, and what is happening. Because, oh, Russia screwed this and that. But there is very micro details here and there, very small things that a proper analyst can see, and things like it's hard. It's going to be hard to beat Russia that way. So even though Russia is losing, it's mostly like a stalemate type of situation. Russia just involved North Korea. If NATO, Europe, and US becomes too strong and like gives proper ultimatums to Russia or something, maybe things will change. But just supporting Ukraine and Ukraine fighting back against Russia feels like too long of a thing, and who knows if it's going to be achievable or not.
A confidential Ukrainian estimate from earlier this year put the number of dead Ukrainian troops at 80,000 and the wounded at 400,000, according to people familiar with the matter. Western intelligence estimates of Russian casualties vary, with some putting the number of dead as high as nearly 200,000 and the wounded at around 400,000.
Yeah, people who see this and like, so see Russia's losing, look at the number, dead number. But this happens every time a country invades another country. Invader always suffers more casualties than anyone else. And Russia is known to have like much higher casualty than anyone else in all wars, from World War I, World War II, all the time. Soviet Union / Russia always have a lot of dead compared to anything else, right?
To shore up its manpower on the battlefield, Russia is also looking to North Korean troops. The Pentagon recently said North Korea sent about 10,000 troops to Russia.
If you think about war, 90%, 95% of soldiers on the battlefield aren't on the front lines. They're cooking, they're in command posts, they're repairing trucks. That's why Ukraine conscripts from the top. Troubling, it is now the case that they're sending some of those older men into the trench lines. It's clear that Zelensky wants to protect the 18 to 25-year-old cohort because that's the future of Ukraine, both in available military if necessary, but really to rebuild the post-war economy that will come. Unfortunately, many of those are defecting or deserting. So in my mind, Zelensky's got a personnel issue, not only in terms of...
All of this, so 18, 20-year-old Ukrainians are deserting into Russia. Is that what you're saying? Because that is a news to me. There's a problem with today's media and any videos you can watch. It's going to be biased somewhere here and there. I didn't know about that.
Of sheer numbers, but also in terms of support for the war among the military.
Another important factor is the new U.S. President-elect, Donald Trump. Trump has vowed to end the war quickly.
I think Zelensky is maybe the greatest salesman of any politician that's ever lived. Every time he comes to our country, he walks away with $60 billion.
Looking ahead, General Kimmett sees a hard road for the Ukrainians.
There is little doubt in my mind that the Ukrainian armed forces could continue to stay intact and on the battlefield through 2025, through a year from now. But I think the political and diplomatic issues are going to overwhelm the battlefield issues.
Yeah, there you go. I think, look, America is known for a lot of things, but one thing they are known for is military and military equipments. Think of Tony Stark in Iron Man. So it's if US sells their goods, this is mostly aid package. But think of like this, like military has some aging equipment they want to be replaced. Now, only way to do that is they go to Congress and tell Congress to pass a budget to replace them. Now they have to old equipment they have to either throw away or put somewhere else or something like that. But because of this, they can write this off as an aid package or humanitarian package and replace their own equipment. That's what the US has been doing. And military complex of USA basically spread out everywhere in Congress and everywhere. Will basically tell Trump that it's in our favor in a way if we keep supplying the war equipment. So I don't see really Trump just basically saying, screw all you guys, I'm stopping this now, we're not going to supply anyone. Maybe Trump can do that. Trump is known for that. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, in the end of the day, I don't know, man. I don't know if Trump's going to help Ukraine or not. And as far as Ukraine thing goes, it's like, yeah, it looks somewhat grim in a way. The more war stretches out, and there's more possibility people will stop helping Ukraine if they don't see benefit in that. I don't know what's in the future. But yeah, and like I said, Putin already brought North Korean and their equipment now with whatever pact they made. That definitely extended, that's literally like a lifeline, right? If you're playing a video game, your health bar is low, eat a health bar or put a stim pack or whatever Fallout thing, and health bar rises up. That's what Putin did. Now, if this turns out to be some European country like France or somebody just saying, oh, screw it, we are entering the war, and NATO just get pissed off or something, that gamble would not pay off for Putin. But if that doesn't happen, and if Trump and everybody just see oh, Ukraine is a lost cause, Ukrainians are basically screwed at that point. But yeah. Alright, well, if you like what I said, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.